The accent, the dance moves, like I said, the weird martial arts that he does use, it's not karate, but it's cool looking. Right before that guy unleashes hell on Carl, the owner of the whole place shows up and it's just pandemonium. See, this is where the real terror is.
When it's his turn, he gets the ball in the air, but it explodes as it's hit by a piano coming out of a tree.
Happened in the 90s.
I try to go to the movies with an open mind, you know?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Rebirth, probably going to be a huge turd, right? But no, I went in, I was like, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to go in, I'm going to have a couple edibles, and it's going to just be a fun time. And then you get in there and you watch it, and it at a certain point, is for me, it was pretty early on in the movie. I was like, they got me again, Steve.
Son of...
Got me again. You throw produced by Steven Spielberg. He didn't look at this shit.
They just put his name on it.
You throw the JP logo in. You show me a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then you get there, and it's... I don't want to spoiler alert this movie, Steve, but the boss dinosaur is a dinosaur that's been so inbred that it looks like Sloth from Goonies, as like some kind of weird T-Rex. I just kept watching the chase scene going, hey, you guys. I mean, it's hilarious. It's just not the first one. You're never going to do it. So maybe you just stop. But I guess it's not going to happen, Steve. So I guess I'm going to have to keep rinsing and repeating this process where I'm like, maybe this time they're going to do something good with this.
Do they even have Goldblum? Anybody from the original at all?
They mention Grant, not in it. They have their counterparts in this movie. There's a guy that's kind of sexy that's throwing off like there's the shirt open vibe. But it's just so derivative. But I will say, I'll give one proper to this movie. Give very little like showing of the old dinosaurs that we all know and love. But there is a chase scene with a Tyrannosaurus Rex in this by a river that's great. For 10 minutes, this movie was killing it because of this chase scene. But then it gets wild. Scarlett Johansson,
ooh,
she's great, Steve. I love it. I love the look. I love the whole vibe around it. But I think she only has one acting gear, and it's heartless, hot chick, you know? That's just basically like like some kind of a robot. But still, very much a beautiful woman. So congrats.
Hey, don't go see the new Jurassic Park. So it's kind of hard to put you on the spot, man, and ask like where you rank this guy. But what percentile would you place Jean-Claude Van Damme in the pantheon of action stars?
It's tough, man. Because before this episode and before watching the movie related to the episode with him in it, I would have given him another good movie. But I just feel like cool factor, sex appeal, skill set, entertainability, percentile, I'm going to say Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably the top for me. So if that's the top percentile, Jean-Claude somewhere between Arnold, who's way above him, and there's like people below him, like you can't put Bruce Willis below him. He's above. Stallone's above. Yeah, so Kurt Russell's above, I gotta say. If you go 80s Kurt Russell, I love a Kurt Russell 80s movie. And I guess Keanu, I'm putting Jean-Claude, Steve, above Keanu.
Above Keanu?
He's above. So Jean-Claude's somewhere in that. He's kind of, as I get older, losing a little bit of the luster, Steve. And I feel like the movies that I hold up that Jean-Claude was in, like Street Fighter and things that are just like beloved in my heart, maybe aren't as good as I remember. No offense, JCVD. But I just feel like there's some like variables that aren't necessarily on screen that Jean-Claude Van Damme exceeds at. The accent, the dance moves, like I said, the weird martial arts that he does use, it's not karate, but it's cool looking, you know?
It's cool looking. And I think because I'm such a mark, I always associate him with Rob Van Dam because I bought into that storyline in the 90s. And even though after I found out it's not true, they're not related in any way, they still look like they could be. So by that association, that gives them both extra points.
Yeah, it's uncanny.
It's uncanny, man. I thought they were brothers or cousins.
That's what I thought. I thought it was just like some weird, like he's like the Brussels variant, and like Rob was just like the Florida trash variant of the same person.
Even worse, he's from Michigan.
No, that is terrible. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. He's one of the top action stars of the 90s. Was he in the 80s too?
Jean-Claude?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodsport was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
So,
Kickboxer.
yeah, I don't know, man. There's people above him that he'll never reach, but he's up there, and he's definitely a cool motherfucker. Like, if I could do a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, I'd love to. It'd be a party, I feel like.
Top 10 for me.
Okay. I could give him that. Because the other action stars are like also stars just in general. You know, like he ain't acting in a movie, but he's not kicking somebody in the face.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's catching a roundhouse for sure, for sure. This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Jetsons, the movie tapes, and your Derek Jeter jerseys and jerk out, jerking everything inside, jerking everything inside, jerk out, jerk out. Got to make some love tonight, got to make some love tonight.
Is that Morris Day?
And the time. Today, my friend, we're talking all things July 10th in the 90s. We're getting too old for this shit. Starting off in 1990, the Time releases Pandemonium. This is a hit. It wasn't as popular as their previous work, man, but it's got Jerk Out, and that's their highest selling single ever.
And I respect the Time, Steve. Didn't really know too much about this album. I have heard Jerk Out. I love Morris Day. I love Jerome. I love the Time. I love Prince. Coincidentally wrote a significant amount of the songs on this. I don't know if he was always heavily involved with the Time.
That's the camp. That's the Minnesota camp
it.
they're in. Yeah. Morris Day, all those guys are from Minneapolis, I think.
That's crazy that those cool people are from that area. Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Just like a lot of wrestlers. So like I imagine a lot of great R&B music and some dope future all-stars came from Minnesota. I mean, they were the heels in Graffiti Bridge as well as Purple Rain, Morris Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, those guys were always hanging out and stuff, man. One of the tracks that Prince co-produced or co-wrote, Donald Trump, black version.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good song too. I was like, why do you name it this?
I'd love to know. I'm sure Chat GPT can give me an answer.
Given the current climate, I'm not a huge fan of that, but the song itself is great.
Yeah.
If I'm Donald Trump, that's the song I'm zeroing in on to get people to think I'm cool. I'm like, fucking Prince wrote a song about me, but fuck him. Like not Prince. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. DJT.
1992, Cool World premieres. When Jack Deebs was behind bars, he found escape by creating Cool World, a cartoon series featuring a vixen named Hollywood. However, the flesh proves weaker than ink as Holly takes human form in Las Vegas. Directed by Ralph Bakshi, starring Kim Basinger, Gabriel Byrne, and Brad Pitt.
Notable voice acting stars too, Steve. Like Maurice LaMarche, she does a voice in this, and he's in like every cartoon that we grew up with.
Every cartoon.
This was a movie I was always attracted to as a kid. One, because it's sexy. It's got a hot chick cartoon, just like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So we get a little bit of that. But in this one, it gets a lot more adult.
It's that Ralph Bakshi factor, man.
Yeah, exactly. We get that same sexual shit like that from Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat.
Ralph Bakshi also did a Lord of the Rings cartoon. So this guy is like some sort of animation legend, kind of into the weird way, though. He does a lot of sexy stuff.
X-rated, especially for kids. He has a unique style that stands out. You could tell it's Ralph Bakshi because a lot of the stuff from Cool World looks like Fritz the Cat.
Yeah. And it's a cool animation. Like this thing that they were doing back in like the early 90s in that same Roger Rabbit style where it was like real people and they would mix in like animate over it. Very cool looking. I don't feel like this movie was very popular or like widely loved.
It wasn't.
But I was always attracted to it. Also, just when you went to rent movies, the cover was always just cool as fuck, Steve.
It stood out, man. This movie didn't even make its budget. And I've always had a thing for Kim Basinger, especially in this movie. She's really hot, man. I don't know how you felt. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The animated version and the real version just sexy as all hell. Gabriel Byrne's cool in this. He's usually like the devil. In this, he's not that. He's just some like depressed guy that isn't he? He is in prison, so
Yeah,
he
he's in
invents
prison.
this. Yeah, I just thought Brad Pitt looked cool, like a cop in Cool World. I love that he's constantly like stressing like real people can't fuck these, can't do
Yeah, yeah. That
that.
sucks.
Chill out.
You're around these hot animated people and you can't even do anything with them.
I like how he calls normal people noids. It's like the noids don't fuck the whatevers, but yeah, I mean, I don't. I enjoyed it. I didn't watch it again. It's not just like an A+ movie, but it's worth a watch, especially because you don't get this a lot anymore. And this is like a bunch of talented people in this weird movie. I did find out, Steve, that they actually did a publicity stunt where they kind of like manipulated the Hollywood sign when this was
Yeah.
coming out, which I love to see. I like that kind of guerrilla marketing, and I guess people hated it for whatever reason.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, right?
It should be used a lot. Like you're in the land of making movies. So I'm surprised that was the only example, man. Like a lot of producers like that should be a go. Like cuz you could see it like from far away. Like I'm
Yeah,
surprised like more movies haven't used that opportunity.
and I feel like people do it anyway, and it's everyone's always like, "I can't believe it. This is it's fucking
Some
shut up."
fucking letters.
Yeah, and when you get up next to it, cheap as fuck, Steve. This ain't like some fucking real piece of art. It's just a bunch of bullshit that you can see from far away. It's dirty as shit.
Some cardboard.
Probably some guy booting heroin right under the letters that you just can't see because he's up in the hills.
Probably, yeah.
Some other things that I thought were interesting is like Tracy Lords was going to be the chick in this instead of what's her face, which I think I would have loved to see that because it almost works out. Tracy Lords, Steve, back in the early '90s
Yeah. She's
when it wasn't illegal to watch those movies she shot.
she's an Ohio legend too, man. Born and raised.
Where?
I think Steubenville, if I'm not mistaken, the home of Raleigh Fingers and the late great Dean Martin.
Whoa. Is she still alive?
She's still with us at the age of 57. Yeah.
That's crazy. You'd think she'd be a little like they'd be bringing her back a little bit. She was, you know, she was a name. Every
Yeah.
kids my age, Steve, kids our age. I liked a
Mhm.
nice Tracy Lords film back in the day.
I'll bring her back and break her back. Also in 1992, Universal Soldier premieres. Soldiers who were killed in action are brought back to life in a top secret military experiment that creates superhuman warriors. Directed by Roland Emmerich, starring Jean Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, Ali Walker, Edo Ross, and Jerry Orbach.
I'm so disappointed after watching this, Steve.
Yeah.
I remember this movie being top notch, and then I watched it the other night. I didn't even make it all the way through, but instead of shitting on it completely, because it's not a good movie. Sorry, John Claude. Sorry, Dolph. Sorry, Arbach. I feel bad, Jerry, even because this guy's a legend. He's a TV legend. He's
For
being
sure.
put in this fucking shenanigan movie. Here's a couple things I love, Steve. I like Dolph Lundgren in Vietnam wearing ears, losing his shit, being a crazy like Vietnam soldier that's just all foobarred out, Steve. He's killing villagers, he's killing soldiers, he's cutting off ears. I like that.
Making necklaces out of the ears.
You know what? You're a traitor, just like the other ones. It's bizarre. I forgot that that was even part of this movie. I forgot like the hook that these unisols, as they're called in the movie, are just basically like if RoboCop had more body parts left. You know, like they're just like robots, but they just were dead people. They're somehow brought back with ice.
It's ridiculous. The premise, like it starts there. Like I love all the guys that you mentioned, but at the same time, y'all read this script before y'all signed on. Y'all are not off the hook, man. Like
Sarge.
the
Hey,
premise is
Sarge.
ridiculous.
I mean, just that's the thing with. I guess I suspended disbelief back in the day because I was like, God damn, John Claude's a badass. Like, look at him split kick these dudes. The accent, especially when he's a Vietnam soldier, like a U.S. soldier, and so, it sounds weird. It's weird. And then he hooked like bring it to current day, and his is the only like killer robot unisol guy that remembers all these crazy things. They paired him up with the crazy psycho he was working with, which I think is a fuck up on their part. And then he starts fritzing out and becoming just a regular guy again, Steve, who needs ice like a motherfucker.
The cryogenic thing, has that even worked? Is
I
that
know,
reality?
Steve.
Because I heard about them trying to do that with Ted Williams, the Red Sox legend, before he died. I didn't follow the story.
I feel like
But
they fucked it up and like fucked his like remains up. So even if it does become a thing, like he ain't gonna capitalize on it. He's in like 1,000 pieces.
yeah, Hollywood is weird sometimes, man. They use Americans to play foreigners and foreigners to play Americans.
Yeah, yeah. And Dolph Lundgren ain't exactly a fucking corn-fed Iowan or anything, you
With
know.
that heavy accent, man. But
Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren, talking about action stars, he's not in my top 10, but I would say 15 or 20.
yeah, hell yeah. Especially, dude. I mean, just fucking what's his face from Rocky. You get a huge one for that.
That's the one.
Yeah, hell yeah. But he was, dude. People forget he played the Punisher in the '80s. Like, he was killing it,
Mm.
dude.
Masters of the Universe, I like it still.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't care.
it's it's people like Conan a lot too, Steve. It's not weird. It just is your taste.
It's camp.
It is. I mean, that one's tough a little bit, but he looks the part and he does what he needs to do, which is come jacked, which he always does. This guy's a white man who is probably what 70 years old now or something. Still looks
Close.
pretty decent for an old fucking white dude. That's pretty tough. Take
Yeah,
it from me.
be quiet, man.
I did related to the ice. Fun little fact, Steve. They shot the most of this, I think, somewhere in Arizona, and they needed a lot of ice, coincidentally, because of the storyline in this movie. So there was a regional 7-Eleven who provided all of the ice for this movie, and the 7-Eleven owner, it like made his life, Steve, because of this 3 months where he was just selling out on ice. It created a successful business for this man. So not only did they make a subpar movie, they made some guy who owned a 7-Eleven franchise dreams come true. So I feel like that's kind of worth it, right?
He was getting off those packs of ice. 1994, the state is airing season 2, episode 1. The generic title names. We only have a small opportunity to cover this show. I think they only aired 20 episodes, man.
Yeah, this group of like comedians always try to get a pop off on like sketch shows on TV. For some reason, they just never really caught on. The state, Michael Ian Black had like 5 sketch shows that never caught on. That had like a Michael Showalter and him had one. So for whatever reason, these guys all became super successful. A lot of them are movie stars now. It just wasn't the time for this, I guess. But I love seeing it because most of these guys are hugely funny. A lot of them were on shows that we all like Reno 911 and shit. David Wayne's a beast. He's hilarious. And
Joe Latrulio,
yeah, Cholo Trulio's hilarious. Even the Guinea guy, the Italian dude.
Ken Marino.
Ken Marino, which they just joke off of him being some like meatball heartthrob dude, which I love. I think what it does best is sort of that like rapid fire thing that almost Mr. Show does too, where they try to like sort of weave stuff into the whole episode, even if it's a small joke.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a fan when it came out, to be honest with you. I didn't watch The State when it came out too much.
Didn't have too much of an opportunity.
Yeah, really. I mean, if you weren't really paying attention, I was probably busy trying to watch Playboy Channel Scrambled or something. I don't remember.
And we start this episode off with a ballet skit, Nutcracker in a tiny, tiny room.
My apartment in LA, basically, it's, maybe they got about 300 square feet, Steve. But it seems okay for right now. They got a ballerina in there. She's doing a couple of pirouettes, a couple of spins. So I'm enjoying it.
Carrie Kenny, shout out to her, man. She's a great comedic actress. And up next is James Dixon, the power priest.
Over 5 years, I guess Catholic church attendance really went down, Steve. So here comes James Dixon, power priest, who basically no affiliation with the Catholic Church, no belief in God even, but got that Italian joie de vivre that we all know and love. He used to be some sort of super agent Now he's making deals for God, Steve.
They need a good negotiator. They'd even be flexible with the whole no girls thing.
We were going to have a pancake breakfast for a fundraiser, but he actually booked Henry Rollins' band to come play.
What the fuck? It is like he's marrying this couple. He's like, before you do that, I get 10%, right?
Get some hot tongue action. So yeah, I mean, James Dixon, Power Priest, I'm going to that church, Steve.
He even got to do an exorcism, and it was pretty cool.
I'm gonna get you 10% on the story rights. What about the back end deal? He makes a deal with the devil, Steve.
And this one is just as weird. It starts off with a customer choking at the table from fried appetizers. The guy sitting with him, he calls for help. And one of the waiters, he's like guiding like air traffic control. And then the other guy, he's doing Japanese kabuki. And then another table, they start doing a Tibetan dance for fire. It's some IP accountants. They respond with another tribal dance, and then the manager comes in and he blows a conch. And the busboy, he brings a table with 4-year supply of radishes, and then the other guy from the original table 4 just sits down.
Everything worked out. He stopped choking because essentially, Steve, what was happening there was everyone was giving their international sign for choking, for example, or that they didn't understand, to where it led to all of that insanity that you just explained. So thankfully that conch in just 5 minutes of your time and you're good to go, Steve.
And the next skit is Sleep with the State.
Michael Ian Black is just sort of notifying everybody watching that they're having a contest. No, not a contest. It's more of a concept where you just write in and tell the state why you want to sleep with them. Michael Ian Black mentions Ken Marino. He's getting some sniz because he's just a hot dude just on the show. And Joe and I think Michael Showalter are having sex with each other. So they don't need it, but everyone else needs it.
They don't
Yeah.
even care what you look like, girl, boy, or even if you're conscious.
Dead, even, it's all on the table. So they go to the mailbag and Michael reads one, just says, "Hey, dear the state, I want to sleep with you. You won." That's all it
Great.
takes. You just got to write in, Steve.
You don't even have to write it. Your friend can write it.
I mean, maybe just draw it out, draw a little picture, but just get it to them. You're going to get a couple hours of their time and a shot in the mouth. You're good to go.
After that is a commercial for Piggy shoes, because you want shoes that'll give you edge. You want Piggy shoes that oink every time you step down on the heel, because that's what we have. Don't you want shoes that sound like a pig when you step down on the heel?
I mean, I take a pair of British Knights before these, Steve, but it's pretty cool whenever you step down on the heel and it sounds like a pig oinking. That's pretty dope. It would fuck me up if I was shooting free throws, I'll tell you that.
Let me know when you get the lion roars. And then after that is the Nazi war criminals, and some agents just intrude a house telling them that they're under arrest for Nazi war crimes. Apparently the married couple, they bought rockets from Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. The agents are like, "Look, we know exactly what's going on. You guys are Nazi scientists. Your young daughter over there is some sort of Panamanian coke dealer, because we got a kid on the inside. In fact, it's your kid, your 9-year-old son. He's been an informant for us. He's telling us all the details." And they're like, "You believe this? Everything that comes out of this kid's mouth?" And the guy's like, "Well, not at first, but he's making a lot of sense." In fact, and then I think he mentioned something about like aliens coming to Earth or something's happening, and all of this stuff ends up being true, Steve. The Nazi comes out of the parents, the girl pulls a gun out. Turns out the kid was telling the truth.
Yeah, he puts on a monocle and everything.
Austin Easton Rocket Gene.
We revisit the Nutcracker in a tiny, tiny room. Carrie Kenny gets lifted up and her head busts the ceiling. It's just a random non sequitur. But now we have the Barry Lutz show, and they're discussing monkey torture with Dr. Martin Crank.
Barry's just a really accommodating TV host, and he's interviewing Dr. Crank, who's been doing some research, Steve, some really groundbreaking stuff, not necessarily about like monkeys or like health, just about torturing monkeys. You lure them into your house with some bananas. You open a trap door, they fall in, boom, bang, boom, and then you just start torturing the living shit out of them.
Sometimes they'll pretend that they're dead, and they hate that. It's making it hard to continue this monkey torture because of this country being full of just bleeding heart liberals, those libtards, sovereignty, I guess. And now I guess I'm a bad guy.
Sorry, I want to see what happens if you let a monkey smoke crack. Okay, is that torture? Because if somebody offered me a good time, I'd feel pretty good about it. But guess you bleeding liberals just can't enjoy yourself. Got to fucking focus on the negative.
Yeah,
Glass half fucking empty pieces of shit.
Go save the ocean, you fucking leftist.
Yeah, suck a fucking whale off or something. But Barry Lutz is like, look, done all this powerful research. What do you want to tell the kids? You know, like, what advice do you have for those kids out here who might want to look into torturing monkeys?
You get a monkey and then you torture the hell out of them. He wants to demonstrate his torture. So he brings out little Ricky, the monkey. Before he demonstrates, he gets a phone call. Apparently now he has to take all the monkeys to the zoo where they can be cared for and tended to. But really, that phone call was from his friend Terry from backstage.
Looks like Steve Buscemi. Okay. He just looks squirrely and greasy. And then Barry's like, hey, man, like, aside from that, like, what have you learned with all this, like, research you've done? He's like, what? Well, really what I've learned is monkeys hate being tortured. I kind of was hoping the otherwise, but that's all I got. So monkey torture, Steve. Maybe it's our new hobby. Maybe it's our new career.
I just want to torture Jason Farajaka, whatever his name is. I'm not forgetting that. I know you watching Faison Wanaman, whatever. Piece of shit. But next skit is Mime Crash. And it's a mime driving an imaginary car.
Actually, Steve, it's even worse than that. He's flying an imaginary plane full of mime passengers, including a woman who's giving birth to a mime baby. So they call a pilot. They call one of the experts, Steve. They call Sully, basically. They got to get somebody in here to bring the situation down. He's like, what the fuck? I'm too old for this shit. He has that Murtaugh vibe about himself. And then he gets there and he sees that it's all mimes, that it's all dire situation. So he throws his actual megaphone off, talks into a fake megaphone. It's like, mime. And he finally gets the mime's attention. And through the universal language of miming, Steve, to bring it back to that other skit, he gets the plane down. He gets that pregnant mime woman out of that plane safely on the ground. Man. This is good mimery, Steve. I feel like these guys really pulled it off. It's a lost art.
Tough day on the job. We get our last nutcracker in a tiny, tiny room. And this time they're just huddled around a Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's like a satanic ritual almost, but they've run out of room, Steve. That tiny space is filled. You know, there's a Christmas tree. There's like 5 human beings now. It's a little much.
The final skit is probably the best one, in my opinion. It's called Service with a Smile. Carl!
It starts off like in this weird interstitial where he's just being followed by some kind of weird paparazzi, but he gets to his burger joint. He gets in and, he just wants a grape soda. Seems pretty easy. And then the cashier and then this other guy, I think his name's Chad, Carl,
yeah.
So he gets the grape soda order and he's like, hey, Carl, you fucking piece of shit. He just throws abuse at Carl. Carl's just a whipping boy, Steve.
Get the man a grape soda for crying out loud. Carl, are you deaf? If the man wanted a small soda, he would have asked for a small soda.
And this keeps escalating to the point where Joe Lotrulio's like, hey, man, I just don't want you to abuse this guy anymore. This is getting out of pocket.
Oh.
Even he said a lot of personal things. But then, Steve, everybody starts quaking in their boots because they get the manager in. And he comes out. He's like, what's going on, everybody? Joe explains. Manager pulls out fucking brass knucks and was like, oh, fucking Carl. Even some chucks, Steve. He got his nunchucks out. Right before that guy unleashes hell on Carl, the owner of the whole place shows up, and it's just pandemonium. See, this is where the real terror is. This is Undertaker. This is Kane.
Laying the smackdown. And he just runs out. After kicking everyone's ass, he just runs out the restaurant. And then Joe Latrulio gets offered his meal, have a burgerific day. And then after that, David Wayne,
Yeah.
he comes in and he's like, look, I ordered this burger without ketchup. Carl, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He's an idiot sandwich, Steve, as Gordon Ramsay would say it. Good episode.
It's decent.
Yeah.
Look, you know,
But
I
it
like
did,
them all.
this show did not get its propers, and it was definitely should have had way more seasons,
Yeah.
just given the talent. Everything we've watched, even the one that I shouldn't have watched earlier today from season 1, stellar, dude.
I still follow those guys on YouTube. They still make skits and stuff. I can't
That's
remember the
great.
name of the account, but yeah, that stuff is just as funny. In 1996, Rocko's Modern Life is airing season 4, episode 3, Ed Good, Rocko Bad, and Teed Off. Rocko is unjustly imprisoned in the O-Town dog pound and incensed by the squalid conditions. And Heffer lands a part-time job as an assistant greenskeeper at a prestigious golf course. He finds himself embroiled in Ed Bighead's office politics.
This is a big head heavy episode,
It
Steve.
is. Yeah.
The Ed Good, Rocko Bad portion of this, love it. I love the weird like movie preview we get of Stray Dogs where it's like very dramatic. No one's gonna tell them where to sit and stay. I love that. So as that's playing, we see Big Head look outside his window. He sees a couple of strays actually outside just digging in his lawn. And just like that guy from Friday, he's like, "Get off of my freaking grass."
Stanley.
Yeah, dude. He calls the dog warden. So as that's happening, Rocco's dog Spunky sees these other dogs outside. And he just goes out to chill and goes out, meets them. And these dogs are kind of shitty to him, Steve.
Who the
I think
fuck are
one of them
you?
calls him a pussy, to be honest with you, or something like that.
One of the dogs snatches his chain, but Spunky, man, poor Spunky, he's just by himself, and there's strength in numbers. So it's like, what can I do, man? Like, I want to beat your ass. You stole my chain.
Grandmama gave me that chain.
Yeah, dude.
So as he's getting chain jacked, the dog catcher actually shows up. So the strays know what to do. They've been here. So they just scatter. They get away, leaving Spunky just to get fucking netted up, Steve. He gets
doesn't
caught,
know any
and he
better.
doesn't have a collar on anymore. So this shitty dog catcher just takes him in, Steve. Abuse of
And
justice.
and when Rocco comes out, he can't find Spunky, but he goes to Big Head's house and he sees the collar there. So it's like, oh damn, the dog pound probably took him. So he goes to Old Town Dog Pound and asks about Spunky. The dog catcher's like, "What's he in here for? I don't know, for being a dog." Yeah, that's what they all say. Yeah, and by the way, you don't have a collar. You need to be in this pound. Well, I'm a wallaby. Well, what the fuck is a wallaby? It's a kangaroo, but smaller. You just
Sure.
made that shit up.
Heard it all before, kid. You're going to get netted too. Yeet. So now Rocco's in jail. As soon as he gets in, Steve, he's got a very Karen-like energy, a very just like white guy energy. Like, can you believe the conditions? This is appalling.
This is repugnant.
This is disgusting. This smells, but luckily he gets put in the same cell as Spunky. So friends reunited. It feels great. But yeah, not happy with the conditions. The other strays are like, should see the food they feed us. They never clean this place. They got all these complaints, and Rocco's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send a letter. I'm gonna send a strongly worded letter to these fucking people.
You
Get
can
some
write with a pencil?
wallabies, Steve. I guess they do have opposable thumbs. I thought he was a dog this whole fucking time, Steve. I thought a wallaby
Really?
was a dog. I didn't know it was a kangaroo or whatever the fuck. The thing of it is, Steve, hard to write a fucking letter from prison, right? But in his head, Rocco's like, I got my dude Heffer out on the outside. As soon as he notices I'm gone, he's going to come here. I don't know how he's going to put 2 and 2 together that Rocco's in jail. Rocco's pretty positive that his dude's going to show up and just get him out of jail.
You cut to Rocco's house in Heifer. He arrives and sees Rocco's not there. He's waiting and he's like, man, maybe I should eat his food. I don't want it to spoil.
Damn, dude. It's only been a couple of minutes, bro. So he's busy eating his shit while Rocco's just Shawshanking it over across town. Thank God Alcatraz wasn't this easy to get away from, because Rocco looks down directly below his feet and there's a perfectly sized pipe that not only gets him out of jail, goes right to his house.
They really did go Shawshank with it.
He walked in that pipe for 30 miles. So they get back. Rocco's writing his letter. Heffer's there, not even really apologizing about eating all the food or not helping him out of the jam. It's all good. It's water under the bridge at this point. But Heffer's like, why are you writing this letter? Don't you know that dog catcher just retired? And coincidentally, the dog catcher's like, no, I didn't, but that sucks. So the dog catcher's out of the picture, Steve. There's nobody to complain about. So what does Rocko decide to do but run for office?
Yeah. That's they don't even elect dog catchers. When Bighead, he finds out about his aspirations to be a dog catcher. And Bighead, he wants to do anything possible to make sure that doesn't happen. He won't have it. But his wife checks him like, you have no charisma. You need an image makeover, if anything.
Yeah. And that's what he does, Steve. Bighead's got this is very Donald Trumpish, honestly, like what's happening here, because he's an ugly man. He gets a couple of cool dinosaur lizard guys to just really give him a glam up, Steve. They look him over, they examine everything, and they realize here's what he's missing: hair and shoulders.
And a suit.
And a suit. So they suit him up, they boot him up, they get him out on the campaign trail, and they start throwing mud at Rocko, Steve. They're like, oh, hey, FYI, Rocko, feel like he touched a kid 3 years ago. Maybe look into that. It's just that kind of ad. And everyone's seeing these ads, Steve, because Bighead's got them big bucks. Rocco's out kissing babies, maybe talking to one or two people. Heffer's stabbing pins into people, so there's the vibe's off. The word's not getting out. And Bighead's taken over with this kind of
Citizen Kane.
Yeah, exactly. He's buying the election, Steve, and everyone's buying into it. They're like, this fucking Rocko guy's a fucking piece of. Did you hear what he did?
Yeah.
Peanut butter. He's got a dog. It's crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Back at home, they're watching the election coverage. Bighead wins by a landslide. Rocko only got 2 votes, and Heffer didn't even vote for him.
Damn, dude. Fucking ate all my shit and didn't vote for me? That sucks, man. Those fucking EL fudges.
He drank the Kool-Aid.
That shit when I got out of prison. I wanted an EL fudge, but you ate all them shits. That hurts, man. If you didn't vote for me in a dog catching election, Steve, that would hurt a little bit, to be honest.
You got my vote, man. But the real loser, though, is Ed Bighead, because apparently the dog catcher has been reduced to nothing more than a glorified pooper scooper.
Yep. He's just out there cleaning poop, and they've actually given, instead of a dog, like just a pound, it's like a theme park for dogs now. It's therapy, it's a little massage, a little shiatsu.
Roller coasters?
Yeah, a couple of roller coasters, a couple of corn dogs, whatever, what have you. It's more of a fun thing. It's a fun vibe instead of the Green Mile vibe that they had going with the previous guy.
The next segment is teed off, and we start off in Conglamo. That's where Ed Bighead works, and he's called by his manager to have a meeting. He doesn't even know what Bighead does. He's like, what do you do? Well, I check the caps for the bottles. Well, how would you like to put the caps on the bottles?
We've already seen Bighead's an opportunistic man, Steve, or whatever he is. Mud skipper. I don't know exactly what he is.
That's appropriate.
I guess that's a promotion.
If you can pass this test, because he asked Bighead, do you play golf? Because Mr. Dupet, he needs a partner, and he hates to lose. So you know what to do.
Yeah. Make the deal by losing the deal. You know what I'm saying? This is an easy ask. Lose at golf? I already suck at golf. That's great.
I'll miss the ball every time.
Probably it's going to happen naturally, but good. Yeah, I'm doing it on purpose. Wink. Wink.
We cut to the country club, and there's a call for Heffer. He's goofing off. He's not even trying to work. So his manager, I guess this is his manager, who looks like Darth Vader. He creeps up behind him, and he's like, "Motherfucker, get to work.
Get to work." Yeah, it doesn't. I was wondering that. Like, what's with the Star Wars vibe here?
Yeah, and he goes to his chamber slash lab compound or something,
In the
and
tree, I feel like it's like in
in
a
the
tree
tree.
someplace.
And Mr. Dupet shows up with Big Ed, and Dupet he smashes his first hit. It goes off. Now Ed, when it's his turn, he gets the ball in the air, but it explodes as it's hit by a piano coming out of a tree.
How could that happen, Steve?
Animation, I guess. It's just random, man.
I feel like they took all the time figuring out the first part of this, and the
It's gonna be
second
all
part
right.
they were like, "Yeah, we got some gaps in this story. We're just gonna do it. Just go with it. Animate this."
Now Dupet, he's killing Ed Bighead. His balls keep getting hit with pianos coming out of the tree. And Heffer sees Mr. Bighead. He's telling him, man, like, dude, you suck at this.
You fucking spending more time in the sand than Hasselhoff. All right, but that's his job.
Yeah.
Hef's fucking up this episode, Steve. I don't like
Yeah.
the end. I'm kind of going against Hef now.
He's like the Kramer of this Rocko universe in
I'm
a
more
way.
of the turtle guy. You know,
Philbit,
Filbert. Yeah, I like that guy more than Heffer at this point.
Bighead, he actually gets a hole eventually. His manager, he keeps coming in. He's like, look, man, if Dupet loses,
Oh,
he'll
this old man.
kill us.
He's killed people before. That hole is 6 feet deep. There's no reason it should be that deep. You get it?
And Darth Vader manager, he's not even concerned. He's like, man, this little shit, man. I blast motherfuckers half his size, twice his size. Plus, Mr. Dupet looks like a pussy anyway. Little soft ass, limp wrist motherfucker.
It's Mr. Dupet, Steve. This is the golf stereotype. There's the fun, go lucky golf guy that's fun to be around, and then there's the Dupet. The guy who
So-
just plays it too serious, where it's like, why do you care this much? You
So-
fucking piece of garbage.
Is that Arnold Palmer over there? Huh?
Fucking Dupet. I don't even like your name.
I hate it.
Yeah, dude. Fuck him. Right? Right, Steve? Fuck Dupet.
He's a hoe ass.
Yeah,
And Ed, he winds up and he himself gets hit by a piano, but his ball still goes in now.
the world's conspiring against him, Steve. Bighead, he's got the worst luck in the world. You know, he's that guy.
Pianos just keep dropping. And Big Ed at this point, he's loopy. Several pianos drop on Ed again, but his ball still goes in. And he's bandaged up now. And Big Ed hits the ball into the ocean. But they think mission is accomplished. Okay, Dupet wins. But Heffer, out of nowhere, he grabs the ball from under the water in a helicopter. And they get all the exploding pianos ready to launch. And they all miss Heffer in the chopper. And he drops the ball into the hole. Big Ed wins.
He did it, Steve. Dude, but so many explosions. Goddamn Heffer looks like Launchpad McQuack in this episode.
Yeah.
And he says,
Hasta la vista, baby.
But eventually Heffer, he sputters out and he crashes into the little tree compound, killing Darth Vader and all his little minions.
it was intense, Steve. Yeah, I didn't get the Vader thing. I thought there was more of an explanation on that because, like I said, I couldn't watch this full episode. But yeah, I dug the Star Wars vibe, but I didn't understand the Star Wars vibe. But I guess there was nothing to understand.
Yeah. And Mr. Dupet, he's somewhat amazed. He asks Big Head, so what do you do for the company? Well, I check out the caps before they're put on the bottle. Well, keep up the good work. Yeah.
Raise. This is how you would get raises, Steve. Exploding pianos drop from the sky. And how much damage did Hef do to the fucking place, Steve? I feel like he exploded most of it.
He fucked it up, man, because aliens show up at the end of this episode and they think this is like one of their signs that they see like sketched into the grass.
Who was
It's like-
this stuff?
Yeah.
That was great. That was a fun way to end it too. Shout out Rocko's Modern Life for teaching me something that I didn't even know for this whole time, which was he's not a dog, guys. I thought he was a dingo, Steve. I guess I missed he was a wallaby, and I guess I missed in science class that that's not a dog. So
Yeah. Maybe in Australia. In 1998, Lethal Weapon 4 premieres. With personal crisis and age weighing in on them, LAPD officers Riggs and Murtaugh must contend with deadly Chinese triads that are trying to free their former leaders out of prison and onto American soil. Directed by Richard Donner, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, Rene Russo, Chris Rock, Jet Li, and his rat tail.
Fire! I like this one, Steve. I dug it when I was a kid. You get the new dogs in this. You get Chris Rock making us laugh, trying to fuck Murtaugh's daughter, or actually fucking
He
Murtaugh's
fucked
daughter.
her. Yeah, raw dog.
Jet Li, first movie on American soil, Steve. First American movie, I believe.
Was it?
I think so.
Wow.
Fun little fact about this with regarding Jet Li and how much of a badass he is. And I had always heard this, that he was moving so fast that they had to slow him down so that the cameras could capture what he was doing.
The shutter speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude. That's like something you got to tell everybody for the rest of your life story.
And Jet Li, he was such a formidable opponent. They didn't think it would be convincing if one man fought him. So that's why Riggs and Murtaugh had to jump him. And they barely did it.
I mean, they had to call in a collapsing bridge to kill this fucking guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, great action scenes. Love the comedy. Love the scene in the dentist office with Benny and like where they get him high and they're all high on laughing gas. My baby's having your baby.
What are you talking about?
I feel like all of the movies start off like this, where there's like a great action set piece at the beginning of the movie. And in this one, I dug it. It's a guy that looks like a fake Iron Man with like flamethrowers, listening to hair metal, just going up against Riggs and Murtaugh. That was dope too. Like the action in this, top notch.
This might be my favorite of the whole series, man. I have to watch the OG, like the first one again, but like I will say this, man, it might be the craziest at least because they went through a lot of shit, just like driving the car through the office and somehow landing on the freeway. That was wild.
There's human trafficking in this movie. Murtaugh adopts an Asian family at one point, which I love. Even Riggs is getting a little too old for this shit at this point. Doesn't he have a kid coming? Isn't that
Rene
what it is?
Russo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually go into labor as the same time as Chris Rock and Murtaugh's daughter.
That's how we do the new one, Steve. This is remake it, reboot it, Hollywood. I know you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
they probably are going to make a Lethal Weapon 5, Steve, because this was the last taste we got before shit got weird with Melly Mel, you know? Before all the blow me, all the racial shit and the anti-Semitic shit and just the blow me.
A pack of ninjas. That's not even how you quantify us. But to give Mel Gibson some grace, I'm trying to lay off of you, Melly. I want to like you. Chris Rock said that Mel Gibson actually fought for him to get that role. So it's like you hear stories like that, and it's like, damn, man, like, okay, that's a point for you. But man, I just
it's a tough voicemail to get over, you know. It's tough.
Yeah. Kind of sits with you.
If it was just, why don't you come over here and blow me in that weird drunk way he said it, I could have gotten behind him still. But yeah, then we got into all the other shenanigans, and it was like, this is a Kramer territory. I don't know if you're coming back.
Yeah, I mean he's still making movies, so I guess
he's trying, Steve, but he's one drink away from going back to Naziville.
Melly, I just hope you learned your lesson. Also in 1998, Small Soldiers premieres. When missile technology is used to enhance toy action figures, the toys soon begin to take their battle programming too seriously. Directed by Joe Dante, starring Kristen Dunst, Gregory Smith, Jay Moore, Phil Hartman, Kevin Dunn, David Cross, Dennis Leary, Frank Langella, and Tommy Lee Jones.
How do you feel about this movie, Steve?
I feel like it didn't find its proper audience because it seemed like they catered towards children, but some of the content was too adult. But the adults felt like they couldn't find an attachment to it. And I feel like the numbers that they got in the box office doesn't reflect the movie. I just think that, and 98 too. Like 98 just seemed like a weird year for movies in general, man. Because I talked about this before where certain movies didn't do well in the box office, but would eventually be cult classics. This is one of them, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting you say that because like this movie was directed by a guy named Joe Dante who did a bunch of movies that you and I'm sure both love, like The Burbs,
Gremlins.
Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
Gremlins 1, and like a lot of other stuff. He directed that movie Matinee with John Goodman that's kind of interesting. This movie was supposed to be veering towards more of an adult tone,
Yeah.
and the studio interfered and was like, look, you got to make this for the kids now. Like, and they had already started making it. So I think there was a lot of interference where it makes sense what your feedback is. But I always dug this movie, not only just because it just is kind of fun. I like movies like this. The special effects always kind of were, for the time, really great. And that's because Stan Winston was like doing the special effects for this, which is insane.
Again,
Again,
is he the GOAT?
it has to be. I mean, there's people that I think are like up there too, like Greg Nicotero and Tom Savini, people like
Okay.
that. But Stan Winston's the goat of all goats. You know what I mean? And he's doing like puppetry. Like this is puppetry and shit.
Puppetry, yeah, man.
So I think all that gives you like, because of the interference, it's not as good of a movie. But shit, man, it's filled with talent. Tommy Lee Jones is the voice of like the main soldier guy, I feel like. It is what it is, man. It suffers because of the interference, but there's a lot to like about it. A lot of funny comedians. I mean, David Cross is in this shit. I don't like Dennis Leary, but he's in this shit.
Gotta deal with these toys, okay?
Yeah.
We want toys that fight back, okay?
And overall, I just feel like it's a fun movie. It's like that movie Toys with Robin Williams, where there's like a toy war at the end. But a lot of it, I don't know, is stylized. It's kind of fun. All the little characters that they have with the soldiers and the weird, what are they called? Gorgonites or whatever, like the animal guys are.
The little warriors, yeah.
But this was the dream, dude. As a
Yeah.
kid, if you had toys that could just do this, that was the fucking dream, bro.
I like how it's set in Ohio too. The town is fictional. It's called Winslow Corners, which doesn't exist, but they found a way to fit Ohio in it. And it's also Phil Hartman's last film, man.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I think that's the other reason why this movie suffered, because he got murdered before the movie came out. So they had to like take him out of all of the advertising for the movie. And that was another thing that they had to change because of a horrible tragedy, obviously. But I mean, fucking Phil Hartman's in this movie.
Yeah.
You know? So that sucks. And obviously it sucks he died, but that made this, I think that was another reason why they were like, we got to like tweak this. We got to like change this up, because the vibes on this are just like terrible right now.
So many things against them, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but good movie, dude. Check this out. My wife hates it because she said it creeped her out as a kid. I just
Yeah.
enjoyed it. You know, this was one of those that came in, what was it, 98, you said?
98.
98. I mean, that's kind of late in our life. We're getting close to that, like, just trying to finger fuck age. But this one snuck in there. You know, it's kind of a kiddie movie, but it still has that in there. It got Kirsten Dunst looking sexy when I was a kid. I probably had a crush on her.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Pre-Spider-Man. I don't remember anything else she was in, but she killed it too. I mean, all the human actors did great, and I just think that this is one of those movies that if people were just given free reign to make, it probably would have been like a crazier, fun movie. But I don't know. I don't got money. There's things to not like, but there's not many, I feel like.
Any callbacks for this week?
I just like to call back to Universal Studios to not make any more Jurassic Parks. I found out after seeing the new one that it's actually going to be a new franchise.
Oh, wow.
It's just, come on, guys. We got to stop. We got Ninja Turtle movies to make. So there's got to be something out there where you can pull from the nostalgia where it's not this. You know? Unless you got Goldblum coming out of retirement to make some weird Jurassic Park movie that none of us have ever thought of, I'm out, Steve. I watched.
Are we quizzing this week?
Yeah, I actually I have a card, Steve.
Let's go.
Steve, question 1. Which Canadian ice hockey icon announced his retirement in 1999?
That was Gretzky.
That was Gretzky. 1 for 1. 1 for 1.
We's a little juice.
We's a little juice, Steve. Get the second one. And this is easy. This is gimme. This is easy work for Steve G. What actor played the lead role in The Mask?
Smoking, my guy, James Carey.
That's it. That's it, Steve.
We back.
Now we have to do your crazy one next week because you're annihilating these. We're running out of cards that aren't going to be just easy work for you. We can keep going, but we need to do one of those 20-minute lunatic quizzes that are for people with fucking Rain Man disease.
Yeah, it's been biting at me, man, because Brutus the Barber, he was right. He was hidden in plain sight, man, and
That hurts.
we were going for the obscure. Oh, Skinner. Oh, Repo Man, Crush, like Bastion Booger.
Nails.
Yeah, man. All I got is 1996. Harriet the Spy premiered, and initially we were going to talk about it, but after watching it for like 10 minutes, it's like no, it's not made for us. It wasn't made for us when we were little boys, and it'd be super odd for us at 41-year-olds to be talking about some Harriet the Spy. But shout out to Michelle Trachtenberg, man. She eventually grew up to be an attractive lady, and unfortunately, she's not with us, man, due to
Damn,
some
R.I.P. Damn,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. R.I.P., man. She seemed like a sweet girl, man. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Tell your sister to jerk out, jerking everything inside. Those lyrics,
That's suspect, Steve.
pretty pause worthy, but it was the early 90s and it's Morris Day and Jerome, so y'all get a pass. Please check out Food Show Fanatics as well as Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra, our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle, and Wrestling with Ronzilla. This is Steve G and Mad G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Jerk out.
Jerk Out.
Don't think
Jerk-
about the lyrics too much.
Yeah.